What's up, guys? Texans fan of rehab here, man. Let's go ahead and get into this free agency part two, man. So we already know we have the quarterback. We already know that we need to work on running back. Let's cover the wide receivers real quick. And so we're gonna touch on a couple free agent guys. Now, listen, I'm gonna be straight with you. It's a lot of guys that are out here for free agency. It's a lot of guys that we have the options to go after, whatever. Who knows how Nick Casario is going to make his moves? Obviously, last year he proved that he wanted to make a lot of guys work for their contracts, and so he signed some guys on some 1 year deals, some prove-it deals, and that was good strategy. I would say good strategy when you got a nice little mix of young guys and a lot of free agents that we brought in. But we got a lot of money that we're working with. Who do you think that we can go after to see who can add to this team and who's available? So we're gonna touch on that today. First, let me get this out the way, man. Little house business, man. Thank you guys to everybody that subscribed to the channel, man. If you like the content, man, please give us a follow if you haven't subscribed. Share, like, follow, all of those different things, man, that you hear all the time, man. But everything helps the page, helps the algorithm. Trying to get to 500 followers, trying to get this thing up to 1 million eventually. But, we got to start somewhere, right? So let's go ahead and put that button to work. You know what I'm saying? Press that button, you know what I'm saying? Even hit that alarm and go ahead and get the notifications every time I post something up, man. So let's jump right into it, man. So there's really two targets. There's really just two targets that kind of, turn the needle or move the needle for me as far as the free agency game this year, man. And those two targets are going to be Mike Evans and Michael Pittman. That's pretty much it, man. I mean, there's a list of guys that are out there on free agency right now, but those are the two main dogs right now. Now, Mike Evans is probably my number one. He's just, everybody knows he's the Galveston boy / H-Town boy. He shows up at Rockets games. He comes out and supports things here in town or in the near area. Mike Evans has been a tremendous player for, his entire career. 10 consecutive years of 1,000 yards receiving. Doesn't seem to be slowing down. I think he turns 31 in the coming season, so age is a factor, right? But when does that stop? But we saw with D-Hop in Tennessee that he still has something to give. We saw with D-Hop in Arizona that he was still balling. So I don't think that age necessarily has to play a major factor in these type of decisions, except for when it comes to the money. And, Mike Evans is one of those guys that he's going to command top dollar. It is what it is. So do you take a risk on a guy like Mike Evans? What kind of contract would you put out for a guy like Mike Evans? I would expect that Mike Evans' agent is probably going to be looking for a player-friendly deal to the tune of maybe 4 years to try to make sure he can close out and cap off his career on that one contract. But, of course, the way that the NFL operates, man, more than likely Mike is probably going to get a 2 year deal, maybe a 3 year deal that will allow for him to kind of roll out into his succession of the process with his career. If he gets beyond 33, he's smoking, man. Like those type of things don't really happen for a wide receiver at his size. Just being honest with you. Especially being that there's so many new guys that are coming in every year. That's a lot of competition. So the fact that you got a guy like Mike Evans who is even available right now and potentially going to have a split with his squad. Hey, man, listen, all I can say is this. Fitting in with this team, it's a huge upside. It's a huge opportunity. Mike Evans can sit on the opposite side of Nico Collins, or he can start or whatever, because we've had a lot of injuries this year, as you guys have all known. We've had our second best, quote unquote, second best wide receiver go down this year with a broken leg. In my opinion, he's probably the best. But Nico Collins, a guy who was unproven for the last couple of years, who definitely, stood up like a champ this year. What is he going to be for next year? Is he going to continue to repeat this process? But one thing about Mike Evans is he's a for sure thing, right? So do you pair him with Nico and Tank and then have three great, phenomenal wide receivers to start? The options are plenty, right? So I think that's one of the things that I'm looking forward to getting addressed when it comes to the team. What's going to happen in that wide receiver room? What we do know for certain is that we're one injury away from being without anybody of substance. And so we definitely have to make a move in one direction or another with this offense. And so I think Mike Evans is definitely a good option. The number 13 is available. Tank switched from 13 in the in the preseason. Maybe there's a reason why. I don't know. I'm just saying. But Mike Evans is available. If they choose to pick up Mike Evans, I'm gonna be extremely happy as long as the number is, reasonable. Let's say it that way. Number two option. Number two option is gonna be Michael Pittman Jr. Now, for me, I think that this is probably the most likely outcome, right? So, number one, we got to come in and swoop him away from from Indy, right? Which is going to be tough because we're trying to grab a guy that's in conference. We want to make sure we try to get our hands on him before anybody else. All of this stuff here, cool. But Michael Pittman is a younger guy. I think he's 24, maybe 25. Tall guy, 6'4". So definitely has great measurables. He's a good receiver. He's a good receiver, top of the class as far as what's available in the free agency market. And if we can get our hands on him, again, same position, same outcome. He'd be a great complement to what we already have in place. He could only, accelerate what we have as far as the progress, and giving CJ that third option or second option or whatever rotation that they want to come up with in this mix, giving CJ that other big man that he can go to catch balls out there, that will be a tremendous help as far as what we can have. Now, third option. Now, I looked at the free agency list of wide receivers, and I wasn't tremendously in love with anybody past those first two guys, to be honest with you. But out of everybody that I saw, the third option that I would say that probably has a low contract, probably is a guy that just haven't been given the right opportunity, probably is a guy that we could take a flyer on, to be honest with you, and see what happens, is Gabe Davis, man, out of Buffalo. He's not been given the chance to really shine the way that he could. Or maybe he has, but there's something there where he's not stepping up and showing his full potential, in my opinion. I know he's out there with Stephon Diggs. Josh Allen is not only passing the ball tremendously, but running up and down the field as well. So maybe he's kind of stealing a little bit of those opportunities that Gabe Davis could have. Either way it goes, man, Gabe is a guy that puts up numbers in his capacity. He puts up touchdown numbers in his capacity. He gets receptions, in his capacity. What more is left there? Like, what's the ceiling on this guy? He's probably one of the guys out of everybody that I've seen on the list that I would be willing to take a flyer on. He just kind of fits the overall scheme of what might work. And if you got the fact that we have Robert Woods on the team, who's got to go, too old. We have, Xavier Hutchinson on the team. We don't know what's going on with him. We have John Mechie on the team, and we hope that he's going to come back and return to to the phenomenal player that he was back in college. But time, only time will tell. And do we have the kind of time to wait on that, man? So, those are my three options that I'm submitting right now, man. If you have a better option, if you think that we need to go another way, if you think that there's a better salary, friendly option that's out there, whatever, or you just think that, there's somebody that we're not talking about, man, hey, put it in the comment section, man. Let's chop it up about that. I would love to talk to you about these guys. I'd love to see, where you think that there's a gap in this whole conversation, man. But let's talk about it, man. Let's talk about it. But until next time, man, Houston, Texas, hey, I love you guys, man. Texas Fan of Rehab. I'm out.